Hello, this is Nachiket Shende, student of MIT ISBJ. This is my second podcast. So, my contextual project topic is social media and hashtag activism. So, from this topic, I'm choosing the subtopic which is who should decide what is hate speech in an online global community. As more and more communication takes place in digital form, the full range of public conversations are moving online, in groups and broadcast, in text and video, even with emoji. These discussions reflect the diversity of human experience. Some are enlightening and informative, others are humorous and entertaining, and others still are political or religious. Some can also be hateful and ugly, most responsible. Communications platforms and systems are now working hard to restrict this kind of hateful content. Facebook is so exception. We are an open platform for all ideas, a place where we want to encourage self expression, connection, and sharing. At the same time, when people come to Facebook, we always want them to welcome and safe. That's why we have rules against bullying, harassing, and threatening someone. But what happens when someone expresses a hateful idea online without naming a specific person? A post that calls all people of a certain race violent animals or describes people of a certain sexual orientation as disgusting can feel personal and, depending on someone's experience, could even feel dangerous. If many countries around the world those kinds of attacks are known as hate speech. We are supposed to hate we are supposed to hate speech in all its forms and don't allow in our own platform. In this post, we want to explain how we define hate speech and approach removing it, as well as some of the complexities that arise when it comes to setting limits on speech at global scale in dozens of languages across many cultures. Our approach, like those of other platform, has evolved other time and continues to change as we learn from our community, from experts in the field, and as technology provides us new tools to operate more quickly, more accurately, and precisely at scale. Now, defining hate speech. The first challenge in stopping hate speech is defining its boundaries. People come to Facebook to share their experiences and opinions and topics like gender, nationality, ethnicity, and others. Personal characteristics are often a part of that discussion. People might disagree about the wisdom of a country's foreign policy or the morality of certain religious teaching, and we want them to be able to debate those issues on Facebook. But when does something cross the line into hate speech? A current definition of hate speech is anything that directly attacks people based on what are known as their protected characteristics, race, ethnicity, national origin, religious affection, sexual orientation, sex, gender identity, or serious disability or diseases. There is no universally accepted answer for when something crosses the line. Although a number of countries have laws against hate speech, their definitions of it vary significantly. In Germany, for example, laws forbid incitement to hatred. You could find yourself the subject of a police raid if you post such a content online. In the US, on the other hand, even the most vile kinds of speech are legally protected under the US Constitution. People who live in the same country or next door often have different levels of tolerance for speech about protected characteristics. To some, crude humor about a religious leader can be considered both blasphemy and hate speech against all followers of that faith. To others, a battle of gender based insults may be a mutually enjoyable way of sharing a language. It is okay for a person to post negative things about people of a certain nationality as long as they share that same nationality. What if a young person who refers to a ethnic group using a racial slur is quoting from lyrics of a song? There is very important academic work in this area that we follow closely. Timothy Gretton Ash, for example, has created the free speech debate to look at these issues on a cross culture basis. Susan Bennett established Dangerous Speech Project, which investigates the connection between speech and violence. These projects shows how much work is left to be done in defining the boundaries of speech online, which is why we'll keep participating in these works to help inform our policies at Facebook. Second point, enforcement. We are connected to removing hate speech anytime we become aware of it. Over the last 2 months, an average we delete around 66,000 posts reported as hate speech per week. That's around 28 288,000 posts a month globally. This includes posts that may have been reported for hate speech but deleted for other reason, although it doesn't include posts reported for other reasons but deleted for hate speech. But it's clear we are not perfect when it comes to enforcing our policies. Often there are close calls and too often we get it wrong. Sometimes it's obvious that something is hate speech and should be removed, but it includes the direct incitement of violence against protected characteristics, or degrades or dehumanizes people. If we identify credible threats of imminent violence against anyone, including threats based on protected characteristics, we also escalate that to local law enforcement. But sometimes there isn't a clear consequences because the words themselves are ambiguous, the internet behind them is unknown, or the context around them is unclear. Language also continues to evolve, and word that was not a slur yesterday may become one today. Here are some of the things we take into consideration when deciding that what to leave on the site and what to remove. Point number 3, mistakes. If you fail to remove content that you report because you think it is hate speech, it feels like we are not living up to the values in our community standards. When we remove something you posted and believe is responsible political view, it can feel like censorship. We know how strongly people feel when we make such mistakes, and we are constantly working to improve our processes and explain things more fully. Last year, Sean King, a prominent African American activist, posted hate mail he had received. That included vulgar slurs. We took down Mr. King's post in error, not recognizing at first that it was shared to condemn the attack. When we were alerted to the mistakes, we restored the post and apologized. Still, we know that these kinds of mistakes are deeply unsettling for the people involved and cut against the grain of everything we are trying to achieve at Facebook. At end, I just want to say thank you for listening the second episode of my podcast. My name is Nachiket Shende. Hope you like this podcast. Thank you and goodbye.